And we are back. What is going on, beautiful people? Welcome back. Welcome back. Subs and Dubs podcast, episode 2. I'm excited to be back. I love this shit. I love doing this shit. I love connecting with you people. I love breaking down fights. It's the best thing in the world. As you can see here, right, with no further ado, we got my man YBB in the building helping me co-host today. Last week we went solo, so I'm very excited, very happy to have a guest this week. And yeah, YBB SDQR extraordinaire, one of the sharpest overall minds. Does a variety of sports. Super smart guy, super consistent guy, super profitable guy long term. We've been rocking with each other for a while, probably since the beginning that I started doing, all this capping stuff, all this gambling stuff. So appreciate my man for being here. Thank you for taking the time, YBB. How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing good. What a intro, man. It's funny when we first started off the YBB platform though. It was MMA related, and I got into like coding and SDQL, and then it kind of took off from there. It took a different turn, but yeah, for the OG followers on YBB, MMA was actually the starting point for our, I guess, followers and growth. So that's funny.
Yeah, hell yeah, and that's why I was so excited to have you on because we normally do our Thursday show. We've been trying to be consistent with that. We didn't get a chance to do it this week, so um, always love chopping it up with you, right? Trying to sharpen my tools. Iron sharpens iron. So, and we got a great card to do it with. So, I wanted to recap a little bit of last week. This last 7 to 10 days, for me personally, has been a fucking movie. It's been amazing. So, we had the show last Saturday. um it was a super successful one. We made a lot of money that night, and part of that is I think because of the viewers and the people watching. The chat, super good vibes in the chat last week, super sharp guys in there, great looks. And that stuff helps, right? Positive vibes, positive energy. So it's partly and thanks to you guys. So just a little bit of a recap from last week. Let me get to the numbers and stuff. So yeah, overall we were plus 5.02 units last week, which is really good. I'll take that obviously any day. We started the night with the two-leg parlay. We had Charlie Campbell and Roman Kopylov in a little parlay. That was easy. Both of those guys finished their opponents, made it look pretty easy. So yeah, sweat free cash there. And then we had Tracy Cortez money line. One of my favorite bets of the card. YBB knows about that one. YBB knows about that fight.
Unfortunately, I know about that one, man. That was a
Yeah, you
good
know
call
about
on
that
your
one.
end, but I still stand by my statement where
Yeah.
Jasmine Jasdavicius at plus 120 is probably accurate. The fight played out where, in my mind, I thought she still looked plus 120. I thought it could have gone either way, but also watched the fight without commentary, so I don't know if like there was a lot of bias going into the scorecards or not. I saw Twitter was separated on the final scorecard, but in all honesty, me having Jasmine, I thought it was 29-28 Tracy either way. So
Yeah, I don't that's how I had it too. I don't really see. I mean, people are wild these days. So but yeah, I mean, we cashed on that side, and yeah, at some points, I didn't think it was gonna be a runaway. I thought Tracy was gonna look fairly dominant, but that dominant word is maybe a little bit strong. But it's one thing getting bets right, right? It's always nice to cash a ticket, get a bet right. But I feel like my reads just on this fight and pretty much or that whole card were super on, and that's what that's what you can be most proud of. Sometimes the result is not gonna necessarily go your way, but all you can do is try to put in the work and get a good read. So yeah, I felt like Tracy won almost all of the standing exchanges, which people were questioning kind of throughout fight week and stuff like that, and held their own in the wrestling, which is what we expect. So yeah, good cash there. So we cashed Tracy, started 2-0 on the night, and then the Zellhuber fight came, and that was I was super passionate YBB about that fight. I had the max play on Daniel Zellhuber money line, and we cashed some really good plus money. He came through for your boy Daniel Zellhuber, the young lion, the young stud. Got it done. Got rocked in the first round. Right, it was definitely my butthole was pugging in that first round. Got rocked, got dropped. But we talked about that, right? We talked about his durability and recoverability and how I like that. So he comes back in the second round. Um, and catches the sub for your boy. So we cashed the money line, we cashed a sub at plus 550, and we cashed the round two sub at 18-1, which was very sweet. We'll take that any time. And then something that was exclusive to the show, the viewers of the show got this first. We did a little sub submission round robin. Um, and Loopy got it done just in dominant fashion right before Zoe Huber did, and then Zoe Huber kind of rounded it up. So it was a 5 leg round robin. Only cashed two of them, which is kind of minimum. So $40 spent on a round robin to bring back 100. We'll take that. Two and a half XR money. We'll take that. Wanted one more. Definitely wanted one more sub, but we will take that. So like I said, plus 502 units for Saturday. And then just to, I hate tooting my own horn and bragging and stuff like that. I just want to give you guys the facts. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm here for. Give you guys the facts. So uh our last three UFC events were plus 12.18 units. That's Dana White Contender Series week 6. Last week's card, last week's UFC Saturday card, um, and then week 7 of Dana White's Contender Series. So that's those three events, little over plus 12 units, and in the last seven betting days, we're up 21.48 units. So just an incredible run. Um, but that's all in the past now, right? It's all about what we're gonna do now. Um, and tickets we're gonna cash. So YBB, how'd you been doing? Have you been betting Dana White's Contender Series? How did you do last uh
Um,
our UFC Noche?
Well, yeah, Noche I did okay. We were split on a couple of the spots.
Yeah,
My biggest bet came through on Jack Della Maddalena, but that was an opening number. I kind of disagreed with him inflating. That was my biggest spot. So that was a good cash for myself. I also had Daniel Zellhuber by submission, which I'm proud of.
let's get it.
Um, but as far as Dana White Contender Series, I haven't really been to like interested in the matchmaking. I saw that you cashed, and I'm happy for you, but I think my bias got in the way because the guy that you cashed against was actually training at Serra-Longo with our boy Harry Mack. So it's
Mm-hmm.
hard for me to go against the grain, and you know what I mean. I root for certain guys, so I let my bias get in the way. But that was a awesome cash by yourself. But other than that, yeah, I try to like look ahead, stay ahead. We already got some fight announcements made, I believe, yesterday. I got a big spot on Alex Pereira already. So
Ooh,
I think
you
he's gonna
pre-
flatline Jiri coming up. So
preaching, you
it's
preaching
all
right
about
now.
staying ahead, though. You got to stay ahead or stay
Hmm.
behind because there's a real possibility that he closes about minus 170. I only say that because Jerry's been out of the game for 2 years. Massive shoulder surgery, very hittable fighter, goes the distance with 40-year-old Glover. There's a lot of red flags on Jerry that people don't want to admit. So I took Alex Pereira with a very heavy position. So but other than that, this card right here, I do like a lot of dogs. I think that it's more, I don't know, you're paying a premium once again to back favorites, and I think that there are several live dogs on this card that I guess we'll go ahead and get into and discuss. So
Yeah, and that's why I think we're gonna be on the opposite side on a fair amount of fights because I like some favorite. I do like some dogs, but you mentioned that to me before that you like a lot of dogs, so should be interesting. It should be interesting. But yeah, I'm on the same boat with you. I haven't done any tape, obviously. Fight just got announced yesterday, like you said, but I think I like the Pedetta side too, bro. I think I do. I'm seeing a
yeah.
lot of people dumping money on Pereira already, kind of getting that early line. So yeah, let's do it. Let's go through the chat a little bit here. I can't really scroll up, but Nate in the chat, he was in the chat last week too. So I appreciate you coming back, my guy. Welcome. What's up, my people? Ready to grab some cash for the fights? Not gonna lie, I'm hella excited. Me too, bro. Every Saturday at this fights, I'm super excited. Nico in the chat, yes, sir. Let's make some money. I love it. Baghdad Lean said we here. Let's get it. Jamrock's in the chat last week. I appreciate you. So let's get it. It is my first show. I'm tuning in. Are you also posting these pics in the Discord because I'm driver? Absolutely, absolutely. There we posted in the cord. Some of the stuff will be public on Twitter as well. Yeah, Nick Finesse will post. Yep, yep, yep. Nate already knows. Yeah. So one more thing before we get started, I wanted to do a little bit of the giveaway because I met a giveaway, cash giveaway. I mentioned last week. Super excited to have the debut episode of the show. The chat was just immaculate vibes. We had a good night, so it's only right to get back to the people. So, I'm gonna post. James actually, man in the sky is gonna post a link in the chat, which is the link to the show on my Twitter. It's a post on my Twitter. So all you guys got to do, go to that post, retweet that for me. Link will be in the chat. Should be in there right now. So just click that link, retweet that for me. I'll go through retweets. That's all you got to do to qualify. And I'll send somebody $50 cash. You know what I'm saying? Just something light. Buy your dinner for the night. You know, buy half of the next pay per view. Um, so yeah, let's do that. I just wanted to get that out the way. But without further ado, we're here to talk about some fights, right? We're here to talk about some fights. We're here to make some money. So Let's go. UFC Vegas 79, Rafael Fiziev versus Mateus Gamrot. What a main event. The card overall, doesn't have the biggest name value. It is a fight night. But I like it. I like the card. I think there's a lot of spots we can take advantage of and a lot of value as always that we're gonna find. So YBB, my man. I do not have any action on the first two fights. They're WMMA fights. We got Tamaris Vidal versus Montserrat Rendon, and then we got Mizuki versus Hannah Goldie. So I don't have any action on this fight, but I wanted to kick it to you, see if you had any thoughts, any action on these first two WMMA fights.
Yeah, so I think both of the favorites get it done, but I'm not interested in laying the price tag on either of these spots. I'm with you. Both of the first two fights for me are just hardcore passes, and yeah, I'm not really interested in breaking down minus 250 women MMA fighters. So we can move along for sure. I lean both of the favorites, but again, it's a tax that you're paying, and WMMA is kind of like rocket science. You never know what you're gonna get. So.
Yeah, 100% agree. So many inconsistencies, so many red flags, just so many red flags between these four fighters. I'm just good. Minus 200, minus 250. I'm good on that. So third fight of the night is the first fight that I, unfortunately, YBB have action in. So I'm interested to hear what you got to say about this fight. I think I kind of can predict how you're gonna feel about this fight. But um, the first fight I like is the Muhammad Usman versus Jake Collier fight. So Muhammad Usman 10-2, 6'2" in height, weighed in at 237, 34 years old, 79-inch reach. Going against Jay Collier, 13-9 as a pro, 6'3" in height, weighed in at 256, and we'll talk about that in a little while. Also 34, 78 and a half inch reach. So YBB, I never thought the time would come where I would say, I'm gonna back Muhammad Usman, especially as a favorite, right? Especially, minus 130, minus 140 favorite. But the time has come, I think. The time has come. You know, Going against Jake Collier, probably the only situation, right? The only opponent that I would look to back Muhammad Usman. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna take Muhammad Usman. I think he wins this fight. On the Jake Collier side, there's been a lot of talk this week about a lot of the same things because it's pretty self-explanatory. He's lost three straight fights, lost four out of his last five. He came in lighter. I was kind of watching his Instagram his last couple of weeks. Looks like he was trying to lose weight, and did, right? Last fight he weighed in at 265 and a half, which is right around the heavyweight limit. And today he weighed in at 256. So almost a 10 pound difference, 10 pounds lighter. And I just hate that in this matchup. If he wanted to do that, he's probably doing that to try to, um, magnify the speed advantage, to try to improve on his cardio, which is not good at all. But I hate that in this matchup. You're going against Usman, who is an absolute tank. There's obviously red flags on both sides. So, staying with the Collier side, the man comes out fast, tries to take your head off, but the man has absolutely no power. A lot of people don't notice. He used to fight at middleweight. The man used to fight at middleweight, and now he is a heavyweight. And if you look at him, man looks like a heavyweight. Can be undersized in some matchups, not undersized in this matchup though. But the man comes out guns blazing. 1, 2, 3 minutes pass, and then the man is done. Right after the first round, all you're getting out of Jake Collier is a jab and clinch work. He's going to try to get in close, going to try to clinch you up and kind of slam you up against the cage and stay there. That is all that man brings to the table, in my opinion. So yeah, Muhammad Usman has to survive. 1, 2 minutes of hell. Has to survive the looping hooks and combinations that Collier is going to throw in round one. And I think he can do that. Muhammad Usman has been pretty durable throughout his short career. They're the same age, 34, but a lot less miles on Muhammad Usman, a lot less tread on the tires. Um, Collier 22 pro fights, Usman only 12 pro fights, just getting, his UFC career started. And Muhammad, don't get it fucked up. Muhammad Usman is not a good fighter, right? Muhammad Usman has no striking offense, has no striking defense. Super like noodly in there. You know what I'm saying? Just he looks like an athlete trying to fight. That's what it looks like. But I think he'll have advantages in this fight. He's gonna be the stronger guy. The clinch work that Jake Collier is gonna want to get off. I don't think that's going to work because Muhammad Usman is pretty good in the clinch, pretty good up against the cage, and like I said, he'll have the strength advantage, and he'll have the wrestling advantage. So, Jay Collier is a quitter. You know what I'm saying? We've seen him quit in the octagon multiple times. Like I said, a majority of that probably has to do with that cardio. Probably losing the weight, probably try to, improve on that, but I don't see massive improvements being made in the cardio. The man has 3 to 4 minute cardio, and that is it. That is it. So that's a fully fadeable fighter to me. I think the most likely path is Muhammad Usman by decision, and I might sprinkle on that. But the best line I see right now is using the Picket Sports app is minus 135. So, I'm going official. I'm taking Muhammad Usman in that spot. 100% complete fade of Jay Collier. Like I said, I think most likely it's by decision, but I think Muhammad Usman is live to finish his fight in rounds 2 or 3. So it's really that simple. This may be the last time we get to fade Jay Collier. Correct me if I'm wrong, YBB, but I think Jay Collier last fight kind of forward out his contract and they were going to cut him. Pretty sure they did cut him, like low key, and then brought him back to fight Muhammad Usman. Why do you guys think that is? Why do you guys think that is? It's to get Muhammad Usman a win, hopefully a highlight win, hopefully a finish. But I think that's what that fight is set up for. So give me Muhammad Usman. Never thought I said it in my life, but give me Muhammad Usman at minus 135 on the money line. And yeah, that's my take on this fight. How you feel about this, YBB?
So yeah, I agree with everything that you're saying. I think that what's keeping me off is, first of all, I think the price is just kind of accurate at this point. You nailed it. Usman is just pretty much an athlete who tries to fight. His striking is really ugly if you really break it down. He is durable though, which has kept him in most of these fights. And the decisions that he's winning is basically just hugging his opponent against the cage. He could probably do that against Jake Collier, who, yeah, he is actually, naturally not a heavyweight. He's just obese right now. And so with Collier, though, I mean, he has good footwork. He does have good volume for the first 2 rounds. The reason that you see him go to decision and split decision is because in that second round is where he starts to fade off, but he does make a good account of himself for at least 7.5 minutes of a fight. He arguably beat Andre Arlovsky. He arguably beat Carlos Felipe. And whether you like it or not, Carlos Felipe, in my opinion, he's a decent fighter. Or at least he goes out there and he competes with other heavyweights. He's been cut from the UFC as well. Now, when you say that he probably fought out his contract, you're probably right. That might be a Mandela effect. I don't really know, but I remember something along the lines of him being cut as well after his last loss. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Um, I don't know, man. Usman, he's gonna have the better camp. He has Safe Saeed in his corner, Fortis MMA cat, so he's training up here in Dallas. And I don't really like fading those guys. I think he has the upside and probably the momentum, but it's just like his fight style. I think it might be a little too late in his career to actually make a push in the division. I think he is what he is. Maybe he beats Jake Collier, but I don't see very much, I guess, growth out of him for the remainder of his fight career. I could be wrong though. He could go out there and flatline Collier. Depending on what his TKO odds are, I'd be more interested in a prop than a side here. But in my opinion, I think that the odds are just accurate at this point. I did take a 3/4 unit shot on Jake Collier at a little bit of a bigger number. It's not a full unit. It was just something because, in my opinion, I think that he will have the volume. I think that he can stay safe. He does have good lateral movement. But I'm not very confident in. 3/4 unit for me is not really nothing to toot your horn about. And in my notebook, so it was just a small stab just because I think that he has the skills. He just doesn't have the attributes, the physical attributes that Usman has. Well, I mean, we'll see though. We'll see. I have no idea. I could be completely wrong, and Usman could go out there and flatline him in round 1. So who knows? My prediction here, though, just so we're clear, I do think Usman does get the job done. For me, though, I bet on numbers, and the number at opening was a lot more attractive than what it is at closing. So
Sorry, look, see my hosting skills. You see that I was muted. Yeah, I 100% agree. Muhammad Usman has zero upside moving forward. You're gonna probably make a lot of money for as long as he's gonna be in the UFC fading Muhammad Usman. But in this matchup, you mentioned Collier's opponents. Nobody has really come out with that style that Usman's going to hit him with that wrestling style, right? Chris Barnett doesn't want to wrestle, and Chris Barnett mounted him, right? Chris Barnett mounted him and rained down shots on Collier. Martin Boudet probably should wrestle, but he doesn't want to wrestle. Andre Arlovski doesn't want to wrestle. Chase Sherman, Carlos Felipe, all those guys don't want to wrestle. Muhammad Usman, I think he knows what he has to do, right? Push him up against the cage, get takedowns, and be a wet blanket if you want. I mean, I don't care. That'll cash our ticket. So, yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. Like you said, you play numbers, and I know that, but I'm seeing, in my opinion, way too many people putting money on Jay Collier, expecting something. And I think they're out of their fucking minds, to be honest with you. But um, let's hit the chat up a little bit. Hey, shout out to the deer. Shout out to the deer. If you know, you know. Shout out to the deer. I'm looking for more. I'm looking for more. So if that's what it's gonna be like every time we see a deer, yeah, we gonna get more deer. AP, the 2 home runs you called last night got me eating good. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to you. I'm glad you cashed, my brother. Facts. Shout out to the deer. Yeah, facts. Usman is -145 on all my books. I'll take it there. I'd probably take it up to -150, -155, around that range. Might live bet this after round one. That is a very, very good point, Jam Rocks. That's something I was looking at too, right? Collier likes to start fast. Let's say the 10 pounds gives him, the 10 pounds lottery comes in, gives him an extra little bit of cardio, maybe an extra minute of cardio, and he has a good round and he kind of puts it on Usman, who is very, very hittable. Absolutely. If we're getting plus money or a ridiculous price on Usman after round one, absolutely. I'll definitely be hammering that number. Um,
Did,
what's up?
did you see what Collier mouthed to him at the weigh-ins today?
Just because your brother's a good fighter
Yeah,
doesn't mean you're a good fighter, something like
yeah.
that. Yep. Yep. And how you
I
think
like
Muhammad
that.
Usman
And
gonna
Jake
take that?
Collier is not that type. That's not like his character. So I was like,
Yeah.
damn, he must be, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. I hope you
Yeah.
win. I don't really care for this bet, to be honest. I don't care for the fight. I don't care for either fighter. So I mean, yeah, good
100%.
luck to everybody betting this one.
Do not blame you at all, my brother. So let's move on. The next fight that I have some interest in is the next fight on the card, which is Jacob Malkoun versus Cody Brundage. So Jacob Malkoun is 7-2 as a pro, standing 5'9", weighing at 186, 28 73-inch reach. Cody Brundage on the other side, 8-5 as a pro, stands 6 foot, weighing at 185. Championship weight for Cody for Cody Brundage. Let me stop. 29 and 72-inch reach. So, I mean, yeah, Jacob Malkoun is -600, right? So there's not a lot to say about that. But um, I'm gonna find a way to put some action on Jacob Malkoun. I think I'm gonna parlay him, probably with Marina Rodriguez. Maybe some inside the distance props for Jacob Malkoun. I think his ITD was like plus 130, plus 140. So not the best price, but that interests me. I might look at some later round props as well. Yeah, Jacob Malkoun is a dog, and Cody Brundage is not. I mean, that's simply what this boils down to. Cody Brundage is similar to Jay Collier at a smaller weight, right? He's going to come out fast, furious, but the man is a glass cannon. He's going to fade after round one. He's going to death gas after round one. The man, I've said that Jay Collier has quitting fights. Cody Brundage just, it's clear as day he does not want to be in there. Whenever any type of adversity, whether it's striking, whether it's somebody having offensive wrestling success, he just completely checks out, in my opinion. You watch him fight and he just doesn't want to be in there. So, um, you know, yes, there's an alternate universe where Cody Brundage comes out and uses his 4 minutes of cardio and flatlines Malkoun. I think there's an alternate universe where that happens. Malkoun has been knocked out once, but that was 3 years ago. That was what his first fight. Yeah, his first fight in the UFC. And he's been a decision ever since. So yes, I think there's a world in which that happens. I've seen some people take some bets on, Cody Brundage round one knockout, stuff like that. But this is another fight where I feel like if you're putting any dimes, any of your hard-earned money on Cody Brundage, I think that's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. Jacob Malkoun is a grinder, right? He's not going to blow you away with any of his attributes or abilities, right? He's not going to blow you away, but he's a dog. He's a grinder. He sticks to his game plan, which I like. High fight IQ, which I like. And in my opinion, is a perfect prototype to absolutely break Cody Brundage. Malkoun wants to wrestle. Obviously, he's going to close this distance with big strikes. Try to wrestle. Try to get in the clinch. Try to single leg you. Try to get you down and beat you up on the ground. So, you know, Malkoun, like I said, Malkoun is not a potent finisher. No finishes in the UFC. Two finishes, two KOs on his record, but that came super early in his pro career. So he's not a potent finisher by any means. But like I said, I think he's a perfect fighter build to absolutely break Cody Brundage, who quits in there. Like I said, glass cannon after round one. The man is going to be death gassed. The jumping guillotine stuff. That's what I mean. He has one or two couple guillotine finishes on his record. So, shout out to him. That's great. But that's what I mean with the just very poor fight IQ. So Cody Brundage is gonna quit in this fight. Might be the last we see of Cody Brundage on a 3-fight losing streak. Yeah, Jacob Malkoun is gonna quit in this fight. So, lately I've been taking, inside the distance prop or round two, round three props. Haven't really had that much luck. So I like just kind of parlaying Malkoun. I think Malkoun and Marina Rodriguez was like minus 140 as a two-leg parlay, even though Malkoun is minus 600. Now that was yesterday, so the odds might have gotten a little bit wider. But if that lay is still playable, I really like that lay. Um, and I like Malkoun here to get his first UFC finish. I really do. That might be a little bit of a hot take because Malkoun is not a finisher. Uh, but yeah, like I said, I mean, Cody Brundage is gonna break. Malkoun is gonna break this man. So yeah, that's how I feel. I like Jacob Malkoun, obviously minus 600 favorite, but I think he finishes ITD. Give me round two, round three finish. However, Malkoun decides to do so. YBB, what do you like in this fight?
Yeah, we align completely. I think Jacob Malkoun's going to get his first finish this weekend. And the reason why is because in that Brendan Allen fight, he could have won that fight. He could arguably be on a 4-fight winning streak. He's a credentialed wrestler. He does have a great top time. Cody Brundage was brought in to be a wrestler. He was actually touted as a wrestler, and since then he's realizing that his wrestling is not UFC level. So he goes out there and he tries to strike. A lot of his failure has to do with him not being good at what he was originally brought in to be good at. So he's a fighter who this is it for him, man. And his path to victory is going to be to get a finish in round one. And I think Jacob Malkoun clips him in round one. He's going to try to bring the brawl to Jacob Malkoun. And hot take, I think that he's going to be on the wrong side of that brawl. But he has to win the fight here. Whenever you go out there and you're fighting out your contract, then you have to win. Otherwise, your job's on the line. If you're fighting recklessly, you're going to get caught. So I think Malkoun, I like him inside the distance in the spot. I do think Cody Brundage is a quitter. Jacob Malkoun, the guy, he wrestles with, I believe it's Stipe Miocic. I can't remember. He's wrestling with somebody, and he's
With
training with them.
wasn't it Ciryl Gane?
No, it's not Ciryl Gane. Jacob
No.
Malkoun is actually a coach of like I believe it's Stipe Miocic, to be honest. I think he's a wrestling
Hmm,
coach for one of those guys. So
okay.
his wrestling is really high level, and it always has been. It translates into MMA perfectly. He's so good at it, where Cody Brundage fails at it. But he's so good at it to the point where he needs to start implementing finishes in those looks because you can't just be a decision machine and expect to win fights. Um, you know, forever. They're not going to give you any, performance money. No, none of that. So, no boring fighters on the UFC roster. He's already grinded out his decision wins. I think it's time for him to get a finish, and I think that he finds it this weekend. So we align on that spot. Minus 600 is a little too wide for my liking, just because I do think Cody Brundage. I don't want to say that he's going to win, but I think that at plus 425, if you're taking him by TKO, I mean, maybe a good look, but I think that's his only path to victory in this fight. And I think it's very slim. So, yeah, for all those reasons, give me Jacob Malkoun. I think he's a parlay piece, and I think he gets it done pretty early.
Yeah, 100% agree. I'm glad we aligned on this fight. And I thought it was a hot take, right? Taking Malkoun ITD, but we're on the same page there too. So I love it. Yeah, sometimes these books offer props like fight to finish within the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Maybe bet that on Cody Brundage. Like YBB said, literally one path to victory in our minds, which is a super early just knockout, just just catches him with something. So I parlay Malkoun with Battle. Yeah, I like that. I like that. We're gonna talk about Battle too. I like Battle as well, but I'm playing Battle straight. That's just me, my opinion. But yeah, I definitely like that. I think both of those guys get it done. Um, yeah, so let's take a second. Shout out the sponsors of the video. Would not this type of stuff, this type of content would not be possible without them. So, first of all, shout out Sleeper Picks. You guys know Sleeper Picks, one of the best DFS apps platforms that you can get. Um, gave you guys that free square last week. Tyreek Hill, 1+ receiving yard. I think that cashed, right? That cashed. I'm pretty sure that cashed. So yeah, if you're looking for DFS, maybe you're in a weird kind of state, use code Goldboys Sleeper. Get yourself a deposit bonus for new signups. Hall of Fame bets. You guys know about Hall of Fame bets too. our team, our crew in Goldboys has been cashing a lot of tickets using Hall of Fame bets. One of the best analytical platforms you can get, help you out to become a better. Also use code Go Boys to get a nice discount there. And then Pick It. You guys know about Pick It. You have to shop your lines. Have to shop your lines. Absolutely mandatory if you want to be successful long term as a gambler, as a bettor. So Pick It Sports. Use code Go Boys. Give you some free cash when you link your first sports book. And that's what we use on all of our content, all of our shows to find and give you guys the best line. So shout out to the sponsors of the video. Would not be possible without them. All right. Let's keep it going, my brother. Let's keep it going. So I believe the next fight is the Dirty Bird. Dirty Bird. I believe that's the next fight. It is. So I don't have any action in this fight, YBB. So if you do, I'll let you kind of take the bulk of this. But I was really close to playing Fialo. I like them straight on the money line. I like them ITD, but I just couldn't do it. I mean, Fialo's just so bad. Fialo's just so bad. So
Yeah.
Tim Means is old and broken and old and super fucking old, and Fialo's just not good. So I couldn't get there on the side. How do you feel about this fight?
I like the dog, man. Andre Fialho, he's just so like low volume, and he just if you watch him fight, he's ugly, man. Like the dude just fucking he goes forward, and his striking is okay, his power is okay. He's just okay. But he's just I don't know. I question where he's at sometimes. He's just so low volume. He's waiting for the perfect opportunity because he gets in these exchanges and he's getting knocked out. We talk about Tim Means being old, but Muslim at Salikov is actually older, and he went out there and TKO'd Fialho. So I don't know, man. A lot of people I think are on the Fialho side. He is younger. I guess he has upside, comes from a good camp, but I just can't get there with him like as a favorite. He doesn't really fight for your dollar, in my opinion. He's out there he gets hit, he gets clipped, he's relying on his power too much, and he moves forward, which is a good look. But for me, whenever I look at forward fighters, I want them to at least have or their opponent, I want them to at least have good lateral movement. And that's what Tim Means does have. I think that Tim Means has good lateral movement. He's a good boxer. He's pretty clean. I know that he is older. He can't get knocked out. He can probably get finished. But for me, to be honest, I think that this line should be closer to pick 'em. And in those cases, I will side with the underdog 100% of the time. I don't think Fialho is really that great, to be honest. And, you're paying a tax to back him. You're paying a tax to back a fighter who's been KO'd 3 times in a row. Yeah, no thanks, bro. Hard pass. Give me Tim Means. I just think Tim Means is also the better, more well-rounded fighter, even for his age. I think that he can mix up the grappling, he can land takedowns, and I think just at range, man, like Andre Fialho, if you watch him fight, he's there to get hit, he's there to get clipped. He was also on his way to losing to Miguel Baeza. Yeah, he found the knockout, but he was on his way to losing that fight just by points, exchanging in the pocket like an idiot once again. And he ended up getting the knockout, but it's those little exchanges that make me question whether or not you should be laying juice on him ever. So yeah, give me the dirty bird here. Tim Means to get it done. I don't have a hot take in this spot. I think just the outright money line is kind of disrespectful. Yeah, man. I like Fialho. I hate Fialho. I like Tim Means, but on the money line, just because I think that this fight should be evens. Just pick completely. So 100% of the time in those spots, I always take the dog.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I do not mind a dog shot at all. And I 100% agree. I think this fight should be a pick 'em at worst. Maybe Means is a slight favorite, but like you mentioned, there are some red flags. The age, durability questions, especially as he creeps towards that 40-year-old mark. So yeah, I don't mind it at all. Don't mind it at all. You said Fialo's not good. Yes, Fialo's very fucking bad. Very bad. Very bad. So yeah, let's keep it going. So next fight is a fascinating fight in my mind. We got Ricardo Ramos versus Charles Air Jourdain, the pride of Canada. Ricardo Ramos, 16-4 as a pro, standing 5'9", weighing at 146 today, 28 years old, 72-inch reach. Charles Jourdain, also 5'9", weighing at 145, championship weight. championship for Air Jordan. 27 years old, so 1 year younger, and a 69-inch reach. So he'll be at a 3-inch reach disadvantage. So I'll kick it to you first. Let's have you start. What do you? How do you feel about this fight? I'm interested. I'm definitely interested in this fight. So how do you feel about this fight?
I think this is a fight of the night contender right here, but it all depends on if Ricardo Ramos comes in, on weight or not. It looks like his motivation kind of took a dip a little bit. I don't know, man. The guy goes out there, he gets performance bonuses, and then he just kind of like disappears. He'll take that money and go out and party, gamble, do whatever. So I don't know, man. For him, it's like he needs to land something nice here and get the job done, and then we won't see him for another year. Um, but his fight style is pretty good, man. I mean, he has good back takes. He's good at wrestling. He can strike. He's really flashy. But Jourdain on the other side is the exact same way. So I think that this is a banger fight. I don't know if like books offer it, but this would be my candidate for fight of the night. Just because
Mm.
I see a really back and forth effort here. But I just question whether or not Ramos is going to make that 145-pound cut or not. He came in 10 pounds over weight in his last scheduled fight. I think it was against Austin Lingo. I can't remember.
He
Um,
made the weight today.
yeah, no. He made the weight today,
Yeah,
but that same fight was also pulled the day of. So you just never know.
yeah,
You know what I
yep.
mean? So I want him to actually get to the octagon. I want Bruce Buffer to say his name, and then
Hmm.
I'll believe that the fight is happening. Um, But overall, man, I think that this is a banger of a fight. I took Ricardo Ramos as a dog just because, once again, I think that in a pick'em fight, you have to side with the underdog 100% of the time. Charles Jourdain, he just fights way too close to his competition, and fights that he's supposed to be winning, he's losing decisions. He just picks with the guy couldn't finish Andre Ewell. That's embarrassing, bro. I mean, he's just a decisionator, and I don't know. I question whether or not Charles Jourdain is. It's hard, man. Like he's gonna go out there and fight for your money. The UFC obviously likes him. He's gonna get bonuses no matter what fight he's in because that's the kind of fighter that he is. I think the UFC enjoys him. But for me personally, it's like you play with your food too much and you give me reason to like underdogs. I'm gonna look like an idiot though when he finishes Ricardo Ramos, and I wouldn't put it past him to actually get the finish. I just think that stylistically, this is such a pleasing fight. I'm gonna take the underdog just because I like. Did you watch his last fight with Danny Chavez? The dude was picking him apart.
Yep.
And that's the Ricardo Ramos I want to enter the octagon. I want Bruce Buffer to say his name, and that's the Ricardo Ramos I want to put my money on. So, yeah, man, I'll take. I don't mean to keep going in on this fight, but I like the underdog, but not with a lot of confidence. Fight of the night would be a better play, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, always take your time, my brother. Always. We are never gonna rush you over here. Shout out my man JB, Jewish better in the chat. I don't believe it until he says it's time. Yeah, 100%, 100%. I get you guys' concerns. So I'm on the other side, and you said a couple of things. Jourdain being a decisionator, Jourdain, kind of fighting close to his competition. I just think Ramos is gonna give this guy so many opportunities to do those things that you're saying, he's not capable of. Whether not just saying, not that you're saying he's not capable of it, but um, I think Ramos is going to leave plenty of openings and make it easier for Jourdain to dominate this fight and maybe finish this fight. So, on a Jourdain side, super clean, super crisp boxing, great combos. He throws consistently in combos, which is what I love to see, and invest in a body. And I think that's important in this matchup. And I'll get to that. Super nasty in the pocket, super nasty in the clinch, active, very active when in the clinch, versatile striking, right? He's gonna throw knees, he's gonna throw elbows, spinning attacks, and very aware in the pocket, right? Especially defensively. Really good at framing in the clinch, creating space when he feels like he's in danger. Good fight IQ, which I think is going to be really important in this matchup. Very tactical, right? We seen the Kron Gracie fight. I think he fought as that's a boring ass fight, right? That's not what you want to pay to watch. But Charles Jourdain fought as close to a perfect fight as I think it gets. Completely stayed out of danger the whole time and dominated that fight. Obviously, Kron Gracie was probably just trying to pick up a paycheck. Hadn't seen that man in a while before that. Haven't seen that man since. Um, yeah, so I'm not saying Kron Gracie's a good fighter, but he's definitely dangerous. And Jourdain could have got stupid and put himself in some compromising situations and didn't. We saw that We saw the fight IQ in the Nathaniel Wood fight. Um, kind of working from bottom, working to get up. Just that IQ, right? That tenacity to put himself in to get himself out of bad situations and to put himself into good situations. Um, in that Wood fight, I mentioned a good get up game. He showed that throughout his career. Takedown defense isn't there, isn't where you want it to be. Super susceptible to trips, inside trips, outside trips, but good get up game. I trust his get up game, and he's super tough, super durable. Kind of to wrap up that package. Extremely tough, extremely durable. He's only been finished once in his career, and that was via sub. And really good 15-minute cardio. I don't question his cardio in a 15-minute fight. There's some negatives, right? Poor distance management at times. Doesn't really use that length, that lankiness super well in the striking. Allows his opponents to kind of control the distance and close distance super easy. He's hittable, definitely hittable. The striking defense is not elite, especially from counter strikes. He gets countered a lot. Like I said, the poor takedown defense. I think he's getting better in that area. I think we've seen him defend takedowns. We've seen him, use that IQ, with the coaches kind of helping him along in between rounds. But still can be susceptible to takedowns. We've seen a strong get up game, but he does give his back up a lot, and that's what I've heard a lot of people talk about in this matchup. Ricardo Ramos is a good back taker, and Charles Jourdain does give his back up. Um, Crone was able to kind of walk him down close distance, find a clinch almost the whole fight, which is kind of what you don't want. Um, the Burgos fight, Burgos took his back several times, constantly threatened submissions, but like I said, Charles Jourdain has only been finished once. It was via sub, but I trust Charles Jourdain's sub defense and his just tenacity and his dog to be able to get back up. If Ramos does decide to execute the offensive wrestling game plan, you mentioned this too. On the Ramos side, just way too inconsistent, right? That's why I'm so eager and Abe, willing to fade him. Super inconsistent, right? You mentioned, he's come out, looked like a world beater, performance of the night, getting the bonuses, and then he's come out in fights and just kind of looked terrible. I think I read something, I think it was on Ramos that he fought in like Texas or like New York or something like that, and he fought and then stayed there for like weeks just to like party. You know what I'm saying? And you mentioned that kind of in your breakdown. I don't know how much. I'm not saying the kid is not a dog. I'm not saying he's not talented. He is super talented, right? Has that capoeira background, flashy striking, a lot of spin kicks. I think he has multiple spinning back elbow finishes. I believe it's crazy. I think he's hurt somebody with a spinning wheel kick. So yeah, super flashy striking, but I do not trust his cardio either. Right, super high volume in round one, and then you see he doesn't death gas like some of the other fighters that we've talked about. He's not going to death gas in round two, but the volume really, really slows down, right? All that spinning shit, becomes way few and far between. So Charles Jourdain is not going to slow down. I think Jourdain is going to put it on him. I think he's going to win the striking, the striking, win minutes, win rounds with the striking. And yeah, if he does get taken down, I mean, Jourdain is super smart off his back. Like I said, I trust his get up game. So Ricardo Ramos, I think is going to leave so many openings for Jourdain to get off his boxing, especially counter boxing. I think he's going to hit Ramos with some big shots. I think he's live to finish this fight. I wanted to look at the best odds because I know I gave some shitty ass odds earlier. So let me get the best odds for you. But I am on the Charles Jourdain side. I think he wins this fight. I think it's a really good matchup for him. Let's see.
How do you feel about
So
a over or under in this spot?
I'd lean over. I think Ricard. I question Ramos's cardio, but the kid is durable. I mean, he's been hit with some big shots. He's still pretty young, right? I think he said he was 28. So I'd lean over. I think I would lean Charles Jourdain to win this fight by decision. Right now, I'm seeing Jourdain minus 144 on FanDuel. I got to bring up Pickett so I can get the best price. And while I do that, I'll kick it to YBB. I done talked enough. So yeah, I like Charles Jourdain. Oh, Canada. I like Air Jourdain in this spot. I think he has a lot of advantages, and I think Ramos is gonna give him the openings to take advantage of. So YBB, my man, how do you feel about this fight?
I mean, if it goes to decision, I kind of lean Ramos, man. Just Charles Jourdain just plays with his food too much. Jourdain's only won 2 decisions. He's lost 5 decisions. So
Mhm.
I don't know, man. Good luck. But I think that this for me personally is just dog or pass. I see why people like Jordan. I think that he's fought the better competition in his last couple of fights. He's a lot more consistent. Um, but even in those performances with the step up, he's still falling short. So is this a step up? That's what remains to be seen. We're gonna find out on Saturday, but I don't know, man. It's hard to get behind either fighter, really. But to me personally, if you're giving me plus money on either side, that's just the side I'll take, just blindly, just because I think that there are certain matchups that should be a pick 'em and they're not. And again, I take the underdog 100% of the time in those spots. So yeah, I mean, long-winded breakdown, but fight of the night candidate, the fans win really, but we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
no, and I'm a terrible host. I forgot I kicked it to you first, and I kicked it to you again after I was done. But yeah, I mean, he's faced a better competition, right? Charles Jourdain, and you mentioned I mentioned I like Jourdain by decision, and like you said, right, when it's gone to decision more times than not, he's lost. But I think he's definitely allowed to finish Ramos. I think a combination of the boxing and the lack of cardio from Ramos, I think, is a very dangerous combination. And you're fighting Nathaniel Woods of the world, who is a serious contender in his weight class, championship trajectory from Nathaniel Wood, and that was a great fight, right? Very close fight. Um, that Jourdain ultimately lost. I watched that fight back, and I do think, you know, when I watched it live, I wasn't really sure. I thought it was a close fight. I always like to watch fights back, but I watched it back this week, and I do think Wood won the fight. But it's super close fight, right? Jourdain hurt Wood a couple times on the feet. Shane Burgos. Burgos is not elite competition, but he was a smaller man at a very negative size disadvantage there in that Shane Burgos fight. And we've seen Shane Burgos have some success in the UFC. Obviously not in the UFC anymore. I think he's with PFL now.
Man, he's not even
Um,
having success in the PFL.
yeah, I know
Shane
it fucking.
Burgos fell
I
off,
had
bro.
high expectations for Shane
But to
Burgos,
be honest,
bro.
though, what I will say is I think Jourdain probably ended up that should have been a draw, in my opinion. I think he 10-8 at
Mm.
Shane Burgos in that round 3. So, I mean, for me talking this high horn on Ricardo Ramos, high horn, if you will, I think that because it was in New York, they gave Shane Burgos the win, but he did not win that fight. He was borderline about to get finished. So I will give Jourdain that. But I also think if you put Ricardo Ramos in the same situation, he probably beats uh, Shane Burgos. I'm not that high on Shane, to be honest, but
I think Shane got that dog in him, and I think that would have kind of he got that dog and he got that size. He would have had the size over Ramos still. So I think that would have led him to maybe beating Ramos. But I mean, that's just MMA math. And yeah, I thought he won in that Shane Burgos fight too. Was a pretty good fight. I mean, Burgos just wanted to wrestle and kind of clinch with him the whole time. Lando Venata too, right? UFC vet, really tricky, on the feet and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I think he's faced a better level of competition. And I like him to win. Minus 143, best price you can get right now on points bet, using the Pick a Sports app. So yeah, give me the Canadian boy, Canadian boy. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. You taking a dog shot again, playing a price. I do not blame you at all, my brother. Sounds like Jew is better is like Jourdain too. Put that good old Canada in the chat. But yeah, so let's move on. Next fight we have that I'm interested in. We have Brian Battle versus AJ Fletcher. Brian Battle standing 6'1", 171 pounds. He weighed in at today. 29 years old, 77-inch reach. AJ Fletcher is 10-2 as a pro, also 10-2 as a pro, standing 5'10", weighed in at 170 today. 26 years old, 67-inch reach. So obviously, Brian Battle is going to have the 10-inch reach advantage, uh 3-inch height advantage, 10-inch reach advantage. There's a lot of question marks on Brian Battle. How would he look on the scales? Would he make the weight? He's had some major issues with the weight cut in the past. He looked okay. He looked like he was cutting weight. He made the weight. He didn't look great. He looked like he was cutting weight, but I don't have any questions. He stepped on the scale, he made weight. And I think he's gonna be 100%. Unless there's something we don't know about that happened at camp, I think we're gonna see uh a good Brian Battle in the cage. So I started off with you again, my brother. I'm interested to hear how you feel about this fight. I've seen people on both sides, people that I respect on both sides of this fight. Kind of people playing the number and stuff like that. But I definitely do have a side in this fight. So why don't you start us off? How do you feel about this fight?
I know we're gonna go head to head again, man. I can't get behind Brian Battle. Like I can't get there with him like as a favorite. As a dog, yeah, maybe. I mean, the guy, he's filling into his own. He's surrounding himself with the right people. His striking looks good. I like his upside of momentum, but I think that the same can be said on the other side as well. Respectfully, I just think that AJ Fletcher, he's a young cat who's never been finished. He's fighting these high level. I wouldn't say high level, but Matthew Simmelsberger. I mean, come on, he finishes guys. The guy has the most dropped opponents, I believe, in the weight class or something like that. I don't know, but the guy drops every fighter that he fights, and he goes to decision with that guy. I took a lot from that. He was an underdog and he fought for your money, in my opinion. He goes out there, he loses to Angelusa. I didn't really like that performance too much. He kind of gassed out, but since then he's actually taken his training camp to higher elevation to where he's prepared to go all 3 rounds. I don't question that with Brian Battle. I think that he can go all 3 rounds. Actually, I mean, I know he can. We've seen it. Um, and I think that he's well rounded, but for me, it's just the price. You want to play this guy as a dog, in my opinion. I still think that there is holes in his game that will be exposed. I mean, we saw his last time out, or maybe it was his last 2 times out. I can't remember. It was not Fakardinov. I don't remember if that was his last fight or not. But regardless, um, I don't know if AJ Fletcher, I know that he's not going to implement that same thing, but I think that it's just really competitive. AJ Fletcher goes from minus 360 his last time out to being an underdog in this fight. And I don't know. For me, again, I'm a guy who plays numbers. I play prices. I just don't think Brian Battle at minus, I think he's closing in at like 200, maybe. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just getting too wide. I think that the number has escaped me. I think if you played it at the early numbers,
You said
you're
what?
probably on the right side. What was that?
Oh, sorry about that, YBB. Go ahead.
Oh, I think if you played Brian Battle at the early numbers, you're probably on the right side. But playing him at the closing number at, I don't know if he's at minus 200 or not yet, but I know that he was edging pretty high up there. I think it was like minus 190 last time I checked. I'm not too fond of that price tag, and if you're playing him or if you're parlaying him, best of luck, more power to you. But yeah, I can't get there with Brian Battle this weekend. I'm gonna take AJ Fletcher. Um, Again, this is strictly just based on the number. So
Yo, YBB. Okay, so YBB, you can hear me, right?
yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. I'm sorry. To you guys, my power flickered off. YBB, we're talking about power issues earlier. My power like flickered off and everything kind of went down. So I apologize. We're gonna try to get the video back up and running. Um. So yeah, YBB, I think I heard. So you're on Fletch, right? Just kind of playing the number, right? Lines gotten too wide.
Yeah, the line's gone too wide, and for me, I do my Tapology predictions like a little bit way in advance whenever the fight card is released. And on this prediction sheet, I do have Battle to win by decision, but at that time, I don't remember if there was a number or not. For me, it's a numbers game, man, and I gotta play AJ Fletcher at the number. I don't trust Brian Battle at that high of a price tag. And if you do, respect to you. But I can't get there.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Again, I'm sorry. We're gonna try to get the video up and running. I'm trying to work on some stuff in the in the background here, but yeah, you guys lost my pretty face for now. It's just my voice. So YBB, I appreciate you kind of keeping the
No, you're
ball
good.
rolling. But yeah, so best price I'm seeing right now. So I like the Brian Battle side. I like Brian Battle. I like him a lot actually. Um, like you said, the price has gotten definitely wider. Best price using the Pickett Sports app I'm seeing is minus 185 on Barstool. I'm still okay with that price. Like we said before, 10-inch reach advantage for Battle. I think Battle just has so many weapons to slow Fletcher down in this matchup. Fletcher obviously wants to wrestle, still has dynamite in his hands. He's still going to strike, but he wants to wrestle, wants to implement that wrestling game plan. Um, I don't trust his cardio. I mean, we've seen Brian Battle go a hard 15 minutes, go a hard wrestling pace for 15 minutes. I trust in Brian Battle's cardio way more than I trust in AJ Fletcher's cardio. Um, a lot of people are poking holes in Brian Battle's kind of whether it's level of competition or the L that he took. Renat Fakradinov is a monster. Like that man is a tank. Okay, we back on video. We back. We
We
back.
back.
Okay, let's get it. So yeah, Renat is a monster. Like I would, in this weight class, I mean, Renat is just a killer. So I don't hold that, against, Brian Battle too much, right? You still put it on tape, you still lost, right? So I'm not trying to take anything away from that. But Renat just implemented his game plan, kind of bullied him the whole time. kept him on bottom the whole time. But we saw a little bit of Brian Battle's resiliency in that fight. Was able to get some shots off, but Renat is just constantly right. One of those. I don't want to get this wrong, but believe he's Russian, somewhere over there. But just one of those guys that are going to implement their game plan and don't give a fuck. Right? They're going to close distance. They're going to clinch you up. They're going to take you down and they're going to beat you up. And that's their game plan. They do not fuck around, and that's what Renat was able to do in that fight. We saw sandwiched around those two fights. We saw the sub 1 minute knockout. So we see kind of the dangers that Brian Battle possesses. There's just so many things that stand out on the red flag side for AJ Fletcher. One being the cardio, two being the sloppiness. Once that cardio dump does happen, the shots become a lot sloppier. The neck is out there to be had, and I think that's going to be a serious weapon for Brian Battle. Super long, right, in general for the weight class, but especially in his matchup. Brian, I like this. Brian Battle came out and also talked about that height and reach advantage that he's going to have. And he didn't play it up too much. He said, AJ Fletcher's been dealing with this his whole career. So it's nothing new, right? I'm not going to be overconfident because I have a 10-inch reach advantage. But it still is a reach advantage. So, Brian Battle does have 5 subs on his record. Guillotines, rear nakeds, triangles. We've seen his submission skills on Ultimate Fighter. So, and we've seen it in the UFC versus Urbina. So, Urbina, how the fuck you say it? And on that season of Ultimate Fighter, he beat and sub Andre Petrosky, which looking back at it now, probably looks like one of the best wins you can have on the show, right? Petrosky's had, he's not a great fighter by any means, but he's had UFC success. He's had sustained UFC success. So, was in there with Trayshawn Gore, who's decent. Again, not great, decent. So I don't think his level of competition is super low. But I love his strike. I love his striking. I love the power he possesses. I love the submission skills. I'm gonna take it straight. I'm the type of person, and that's kind of where we differ, and that's fine, right? Every better is gonna be different. But if I like a spot, I'm gonna hammer the fuck out of it instead of trying to. I try to stay away from parlays, even if it's the 2 leg, 3 legs. So yes, he is minus 185. Yes, that is juice, but I think when we look back on this fight, I think he's gonna justify that price, and that's what you want. So I'm just gonna lay that straight and just hammer Brian Battle. I think he's gonna win. I'm gonna look at some props. I like Brian Battle by sub. I like him round 2 sub, round 3 sub. I think he's live to finish this fight. So might be a little bit of a hot take, right? AJ Fletcher's never been finished. We've seen him somewhat hurt in the UFC, but he has UFC finishes. He's never been finished. But I think that time is coming. I think that time is coming, and Brian Battle is extremely dangerous. I don't know what it is. Pooh Bear is it Butcher now? Is it Pooh Bear? I'm sticking with Pooh Bear as Brian Battle's nickname. So um, yeah, I'm gonna go with Brian Battle. I really really like him in the spot. One of my favorite bets of the week. And yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's definitely an interesting fight. And AJ Fletcher, right? Renat is AJ Fletcher is basically like a Walmart Renat kind of, right? AJ Fletcher is going to strike with you a little bit more. The fight IQ is not as good as Renat. The wrestling is not as good. He's not, as aggressive and dominant as Renat. But I like that Brian Battle went through that, right? He got bullied on, got beat up on for 15 minutes against one of the, most dangerous guys in the division. So I think he's going to learn from that. Still kind of early in his career, early in his pro career, UFC career. So I think he's going to learn from that. I think that's the best thing that could have happened for him in this matchup because that's what AJ wants to do. AJ wants to get you to the ground, control you, and win minutes, win rounds that way. So yeah, we're on different sides again, and that's kind of how I felt. Right? You say you liked a lot of dogs, and I felt like this car you were gonna kind of look at the numbers, which you've had a lot of success in the past, and you'll be taking a lot of dogs because of that. And I don't blame you at all. So, um, I'm on the other
Yeah,
side.
well,
Go ahead, bro.
one thing I'll say is, like, I'll never change my betting style for anybody, even though, like, if I'm wrong or whatever, it's just for me, I'll look in advance and I price the fighters. I have my notes on this fight, actually, they're right in front of me. I believe I had AJ Fletcher listed at, like, plus 117, so I still have him as the
Mm-hmm.
dog, but I think there becomes a time where if it's just too wide, I mean, I'm gonna entertain it, you know?
Hmm.
Um, so the way that I do it is I always look in advance. I price my fighters accordingly before the books do it. And then if I see like an edge on where the number is at, then, that's what I'll make my bet based off of. But my predictions and bets are not always aligned, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just, yeah, it's all just numbers game to me. And I'll look like a jackass or an idiot, but I'm okay with either, to be honest. Like, it doesn't matter to me. So
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And like I said at the top, you're one of the sharpest guys all around that I know. So, your game plan and your betting styles work for you. Why would you change it? Fuck what anybody says. Why would you change it? So yeah, if you're taking those constantly and kind of playing the spots you think have value, and you're putting the number at different values, you're gonna make money long term, right? You don't need to hit as many dogs, obviously, to make profit long term. So I like it. I'm
I
not mad at
still
it at all.
think that there are certain cards that come up in the UFC where if you bet the underdogs just straight, you're probably gonna profit. I think this is one of those cards. So respectfully, I'm just trying to find dogs that I think have a path to victory, and I think a lot of
Yeah,
them are live. I think that you make profit blindly betting the underdogs in this spot. I don't think the same could be said for the last weekend, but yeah, this weekend's a little bit different in my opinion. So,
yeah.
yeah, that's the way I kind of look at it.
Yeah, and we got a lot of closer line fights, right? These last couple of weeks, it's just been insane favorites. Every fight is chalky, so we get a little bit more of an interesting card to break down. So, yeah,
Yes,
one
sir.
hundred percent agree. We'll see how it plays out. Interesting fight. I want to remind you guys a couple things. You guys know the format. People watching kind of know the format, know what we about by now, right? 1.5 episodes through. So hit that like button if you like what you're hearing, and you're getting value from kind of what we're doing. We're doing it for the people for free. Obviously, just hit that like button for us. Quick 1 second thing you could do. I'll wait here. I'll wait.
For what?
Okay, hopefully for them to hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? I
Oh,
gave them like a little three
I
seconds.
thought you paused for a
Yeah.
second because after you said that, your face just paused. I was like, "Uh-oh,
Yeah,
what are we
yeah.
waiting for? What are we
Yeah, I
waiting
gotta
on?"
give him a second. You know what I'm saying? I can't move on till I give him a second to like the video. So like the video, also giving away some cash. If you just tuning in, you missed it at the top. We're giving away $50 cash. All you gotta do, just scroll up in the live chat. There's a link to one of my tweets. It's for the show. Just retweet the show. That's the only thing you gotta do to qualify. So sometime tonight I'll go through the retweets, pick a winner, $50 cash, easy money, easiest money you'll ever make. So yeah, with that said, don't forget to like the video. With that said, let's move on. So next fight is the Marina Rodriguez versus Karate Hottie Michelle Waterson Gomez now. Michelle Waterson Gomez now. So Marina Rodriguez 16-3-2 as a pro, 5'6" in height, 116 she weighed in at today, 36 years old, 65-inch reach. Michelle Waterson Gomez, 18-11 as a pro, 5'3", weighing at 115 today, 37 years old, 62-inch reach. So she'll be at a 3-inch height disadvantage and a 3-inch reach disadvantage. This fight is really simple for me. I mentioned it earlier before. I think I'm going to parlay Marina Rodriguez with Jacob Malkoon if I can still get playable odds. You know, these ladies fought before. Marina Rodriguez winning that fight, and I think this fight is one of the few times that I'll say that I think this fight is going to go pretty much how the first fight went. The first fight was a 5 rounder. Was that a main event? Yeah, that was a main event. That's crazy to look back on. Sorry, my um yeah, so 5 round fight there. You only get a 3 round fight, which I think benefits Marina in this spot. The only way Karate Hottie is gonna have success in this matchup is to wrestle. So, ain't really work out in the first matchup. Marina Rodriguez takedown defense is awful, but Waterson Gomez doesn't have that offensive wrestling game that's gonna scare me. So as long as this fight stays on the feet, as long as this fight lasts, Marina's gonna absolutely butcher Michelle Waterson on the feet and with kicks, and I think she's gonna win this fight. So it's really that simple for me. I don't have a long, drawn out, um, write up or anything or analysis for this fight. I think it's going to be very similar to the first fight, just in within a 15-minute span instead of a 25-minute span. So, you know, Waterson's getting up there in age. What is she? I think it was like 1 in 5.
Yeah, she's fallen off, man. But
Yeah,
after they signed that new UFC WWE deal, she actually got a new fight like extension. And I think that's like residual income for a lot of the pioneer fighters or something. I'm not too sure. So she's there to like fight out a contract. I'm assuming. I don't know.
yeah,
But I'm with you. I think Marina Rodriguez looks her price tag and then some.
yeah.
Oh, there we go. We agree on something, but I got a hot
There
take
you
in this
go.
one. I think Marina Rodriguez is going to submit Michelle Watterson.
Mm.
I think that this is not going to be a knockout. I don't think it's going to be a decision. I think this is submission, and you could get that at plus 1400. So that's one of my hot
Ooh.
takes for this week. It's just Michelle Watterson. She's been submitted. She's going to try to go to the wrestling. Her wrestling's ugly as hell if you look at it. It's not
Yep.
really set up. It's ugly. She puts her neck into compromising spots. And I think Marina can also, I know that she has been taken down and it's hard for her to get up off her back. I worry about that a little bit, but I could see like a guillotine, or I think that she's working on her submission ability, if you will. Michelle Watterson just puts herself in compromising positions, and she's one of those fighters where the game has just passed her. The game has changed, it's evolved, and she hasn't evolved with the game. She is who she is. Um, the same could be said for Marina, but to be honest, we have seen a lot more striking and a lot more of those style fighters, and she fits the script for her age. I think that she still can compete in the division. So yeah, I think Marina Rodriguez looks her price tag and then some, and I think you can squeeze a little bit of value out of this minus 400 by taking the submission prop. So that's what I'm gonna do.
I like that. I 14-1. I'm definitely gonna tell you on that. Yeah, even when Michelle is in very dominant positions, whether it's from top, whether it's against the cage, she makes a lot of mistakes. Like you said, leaves her neck out there to be had. So I love that. I love that. Yeah. So not too much to talk about. We're on the same page there. Marina Rodriguez as the minus 300 or whatever it is she is. I think she gets it done. I think she gets it done. So the official play. Hold on, somebody. My man Baghdad Lean was asking about recap. So yeah, we'll give a recap at the end of all my action. But yeah, officially on this fight, I'll have Marina Rodriguez most likely with Jacob Malkoun in a little two leg parlay, just money line parlay. I really really like that if that's playable odds still. So yeah, like you said, we're aligned on that fight. Love to see it. Love to see it. I have a feeling we're not going to be allowed on the next fight. I have a funny feeling. Hopefully we are. Hopefully we are though. But I have a funny feeling that we're not going to be, and I'm excited as fuck to hear from you about the fight. So next fight is the co-main event. Co-main event of the evening. Bryce Mitchell versus Dan 50K Ige. Bryce Mitchell 15-2 as a pro. 5'10", weighing at 146 today. 28 years old and a 70-inch reach. Dan Ige 17-6 as a pro, stands 5'7", also weighed in at 146, and he's 32 with a 71-inch reach. So yeah, I'll start this one over if you don't mind. I like Danny again in this spot. That this line has gotten way out of hand. Um, I think Bryce opened up around the 135, 140 range. I think that's much more appropriate, but I still think that line is off. And now you're seeing Ige. I want to get the best price for you guys. So let me do that real quick. Pick it sports. I see Dan Ige plus 175 as best price on Barstool. So, I mean, this price has I would have liked Dan Ige anyways and probably would have picked him. But especially at this price, I mean, Bryce, we know what Bryce wants to do. Bryce wants to get in on your legs, get in on your hips. He wants to wrestle. He wants to get you to the mat. He wants to control you on top. Um, not super aggressive, super dangerous on top. Does have 9 subs out of his 15 wins, no KOs because his hands are trash. And that's kind of where I was getting to next. So we know what Bryce wants to do. He's had a lot of success in his pro career in the UFC, implementing his game plan. At one point, he was one of the scariest guys in the division, had a hard time getting camo shorts and had a hard time getting opponents at one point. But that's kind of fizzled off. That aura around Bryce has kind of fizzled off. Very basic with the hands, very sloppy with the hands. Don't like anything I see on the feet, offensively or defensively, because that's not his game. Like I said, he wants to wrestle. Ige's had a problem in the past with being taken down, but Ige is a fucking dog. Ige's get up game. He's a good grappler. Ige is a good grappler, just not the best wrestler, especially defensively. So Ige is gonna, be able to put Bryce in some dangerous spots. And you want to talk about hot take? I would not be shocked if Dan Ige submits Bryce Mitchell. Dan Ige's he plays jujitsu from the bottom pretty well. I trust his get up game, like I said, and his tenacity and his will to get back up. So, and as long as this fight is on the feet, Dan Ige has some of the cleanest boxing, most powerful boxing in the featherweight division. We've seen him absolutely flatline guys. Probably should have finished Nate Landwehr, but Nate Landwehr is tough as hell. So tough as they come. So won a decision there. Yeah, I mean Dan Ige is a fucking problem. Maybe I'm a little bit biased because I've made a lot of money back in Dan Ige for as long as I've been doing this whole UFC stuff. But I just love the type of fighter he is. I love his mentality. He is a dog. Every time he steps in the octagon, every time I listen to him speak, he knows what he's fighting for. He knows what the game plan is going to be every single time out. I like the way he approaches the game. I like the way he thinks about the game. Training at Extreme Couture, so obviously, we talked about that in the past. Now they got that championship aura around the gym with Sean Strickland getting it done. Good training partners. Eric Nixick is a fucking genius. So that's always a pro. Whenever I see Extreme Couture, a guy training at Extreme Couture, um, that's just an extra check, box that I check. So yeah, I really like Dan Ige in the spot at plus 175. I mean, that price is just absolutely ridiculous to me. I know Bryce Mitchell's dangerous. I know there's a world where Bryce Mitchell just kind of gets his game off, and he maybe looks like the best Bryce Mitchell we've ever seen in the octagon, and he implements his game plan. But in a 15-minute fight, um, in a 15-minute fight, I think sorry. I think Mitchell has to be relatively perfect. Is he just going to lay on him for 15 minutes? I don't think so. Dan is not just going to sit there and accept positions. And like I said, he's dangerous with his get up game, and he's dangerous with his jujitsu game from the bottom. So um, I don't know what the best price. Maybe you got it in front of you, YBB. I don't know what the best submission price is, especially late subs, like round 2 subs, round 3 subs. I really really like that. It's a long shot. Not saying that's the path. I think the most likely path is Dan Ige by decision. Dan Ige is levels above in his striking. I think he can hold his own and stuff enough takedowns, right? Do enough defensive in the defensive wrestling department, just like we mentioned with Tracy Cortez, right? I didn't think Jasmine had success wrestling in that fight. She had success in the clinch. She took Tracy's back once or twice in that fight. So Bryce, I expect to have some success, but in a 15-minute fight, I would have loved to see this be a 5-round fight. I would have loved to see that, but and I don't put too much. This will be my last point. I don't put too much stock in this type of stuff because they're fighting, right? This is all outside of the octagon stuff. Bryce Mitchell's off his fucking rocker, bro. Bryce Mitchell is completely out there in terms of his mentality. So when I talk about Dan Ige's mentality, how he approaches the game, Bryce Mitchell's, the opposite of that. He's a farm boy. A lot of people talking about his farm boy strength. Sustainable living, does all that type of stuff. There's been distractions surrounding him this week with his ex-girlfriend or whatever the fuck that story is. He's doing interviews with Bispin fucking getting fired up about gravity's not real and the earth is flat and all of that type of shit. And yeah, I don't know if that's the shit you want to be getting hyped up on weight cutting days when you're about to face Dan Ige. So at this price, plus 175, Dan 50K Ige, I think Dan finds a way to get it done. So this is the one of the dogs that I like this week. One of my favorite bets of the week. Give me Dan Ige, Dan 50K Ige, plus 175 on Barstool. My man YBB, how do you feel about this fight?
Yeah, who's the most overrated featherweight in the division? And tell me why it's Bryce Mitchell.
Ooh,
Right there
speaking
with
my
you,
language
bro. I'm
now.
right there with you, bro.
Let's
We we
go.
we al we align on this spot. I like, Dan Ige. You thought I was gonna go against my Hawaiian brother? No way,
I felt
man.
like it. I don't know,
Well, see, here's the thing. This is what I'm gonna say about Bryce Mitchell, and I'm gonna tell you a play that I haven't in this spot that you might think is a donation, but I'll tell you why I think it has value. I took the draw at plus 8,000 for
Mm,
$25 to win 2K. And I'll tell you why. I think
mm,
Bryce Mitchell does have a path to victory as far as his grappling is concerned. I think that he can win the first 2 rounds 10-9, but I think Ige doesn't go away. He has that 5-round experience. And I think that the takedowns are going to get harder as the fight progresses. But I will say, if he gets those first two, it's going to be a little bit sketchy for Ige.
mhm.
Regardless, though, that's a long shot. That should probably be considered a donation, which I'm all about. So I got my free play. That's my free play this weekend for my sports book. So yeah, plus 8,000 on a draw. Sign me up. But
Crazy
I
odds.
will say, Dan Ige is my spot. I had this fight aligned at plus 110 for Dan Ige. The lines are just way too inflated for my liking. I think he's going to be the better striker. I don't think his wrestling is as bad as what people make it out to be. He fought Movsar Evloev. Movsar Evloev is a monster. Okay. And then he fought Korean Zombie, and he was taken down a few times in that fight, but he was going out there preparing for a striking game plan. And Korean Zombie totally just did not go with the expected game plan. He went out there and wrestled, and he looked good doing it. So Dan Ige, he was also a little bit younger in that fight. I think that he has upside and can improve. Bryce Mitchell is a marketable guy as far as like his takes, his personality. But I think that there are certain fighters that you want him to fight and certain fighters you don't. I think this is one that you probably don't. I think he's reached his ceiling, man. I thought the win over Edson Barboza, I thought that was his ceiling. And I don't know how much further he can really go up in the featherweight division. I have him listed as the most overrated featherweight, ranked featherweight that we have. Because when you look at the rankings, you like a lot of those people can beat him, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna take I like Dan Ige on the money line. I do think that this fight probably goes the distance. I wanted to play TKO, but I do think Bryce Mitchell is pretty durable. I know he didn't look it his last time out against Ilya, um, but it's Ilya, and I think Ilya probably dog walks pretty much everybody in the division. Um, and yeah, man, I think Dan Ige by decision is what plus 440 or something. I like that. I like Dan Ige just on the money line, just straight.
Yep.
But finding a path to victory is a little bit difficult. You said submission. I wouldn't get, shocked if he won by submission because we saw Bryce Mitchell tap his last time out to Ilya. I mean, depending on what Dan Ige's top control looks like, I mean, he could probably set something up. But yeah, I'm gonna go at Dan Ige. There's just too much going on the Bryce Mitchell side. Dan Ige is the spot, and a draw is the donation. So that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, and Danny gave by points. Yep, plus 450 on FanDuel. Shop around, maybe get a little bit of a better price there. Danny gave by sub is 16-1. Yeah, and you mentioned level of competition, right? For Ilya Topuria, who's a fucking monster, like you said, and for Edson Barbosa, who's getting up there in age, right? Edson Barbosa still got it, right? But he's kind of on that downward trajectory a little bit. Other than that, he's for absolutely nobody. I mean, Andre Phillies, he's cool, and I like his boxing and I like his striking, but he's not a true prospect, I don't think, in the featherweight division. Charles Hosa is okay, Matt Sales, but and then the Ultimate Fighter, and then you look at who Dan Ige faced, just a murderer's row, like you said. Evloev, Nate Landwehr, who's tough as hell, right? Not going to be a champion ever, but tough as hell, tough opponent. Damon Jackson, um, yeah, Evloev, Josh Emmett, who 4-4 title, Korean Zombie, legend, right? So just two different. I just have a funny feeling that we're gonna see, and it may have been last fight, right, where we saw Bryce Mitchell kind of break in that fight, right? We just saw him get bullied by Ilya, and I personally thought, and for as long as that fight lasted, only got into the second round, but um, I thought Bryce Mitchell was gonna put up a little bit more of a fight. I don't know if I was kind of sipping the juice over the Barboza win, but he just got absolutely fucking bullied. So I'm starting to think Mitchell's not the best nail. You know what I'm saying? We've seen him destroy guys. We've seen him just implement his game plan and just dominate. I'm starting to get the feeling he's just not the best nail. And Dan Ige is a hell of a fucking hammer. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to say Mitchell's flaky. He's coming off that major surgery too. Distractions outside of the octagon. I don't know, bro. I just, I would not be shocked. And I am going to take some stabs, like I said, on the sub. I like the points line at plus 450. If I can get like plus 500 somewhere, I think I'm going to take a shot at that too. I like that because, like you said, Mitchell's pretty tough. But I think we're going to see, I don't know. I think Dan Ige is going to finish this fight. I really do. So, yeah, like you said, I'm really glad we're aligned now. I was super interested to hear, your take on that fight. Very interesting fight. Shout out to the matchmakers. Very interesting fight. Um, so yeah, let's move on. Love that dog there. Maybe another 50K, right? If he finishes Bryce Mitchell by sub, that's 50K right there.
I
Um,
hope so.
so let's move to the main event. What the people want. Rafael Fiziev, Mateus Gamrot, sorry. What a fucking fight, right? We talk about shout out to the matchmakers. What a fight. This fight is amazing. Definitely worthy of being a headliner. Like we said, the card is not the best, but definitely worthy of headlining the card. Um, and I'm fired up about this fight. I like this fight, bro. I'm pretty fired up about this fight. So I'll let you kick us off. Do you have any action in this fight? If so, what do you like?
I took the underdog. I
Mm,
took Matoshi Gamrot. And at first, I'm looking at Fazeev, and like I was really swayed on that side and pretty passionate about the Fazeev side.
Mhm,
But whenever you look into it a little bit deeper, I just think that there are paths to victories for Matush to go out there and win this fight. The one thing that concerns me is we've seen a shift in what the judges are looking for. They're
mhm.
looking for damage more than control. So that's the one thing. So I'm starting to lean towards the price being accurate. I'm not going to hedge out of my bet though. I took Matouche because I think this fight can play out very evenly, but I think that the judging criteria with it changing with them actually, I don't know if you heard, but they brought in like they had this whole issue go on with the Alexa Grasso Shevchenko thing where they brought in all the officials, judges, refs,
Have like
and
a
they
seminar, right?
yeah, like a seminar,
Yeah,
like a national seminar for all MMA refs. So
yep.
they're discussing what quantifies like winning rounds, all that good stuff, 10-8 specifically. But I think Matoush is, what I like about him is he gets dropped, he gets hit, but he's relentless. He gets up and he will look to finish. People are so quick to forget what he did in his first 4 fights in the UFC. They had this guy listed as like the champ, like the guy. And the reason I backed him is because when we look at the Jalen Turner fight, sure, he lost, but he took that fight on like 7 days' notice. Like he wasn't even ready for the fight. He just rolled out of bed and took it and still won. And then he goes out there, or he lost to Beneil. And in that fight, I was actually on the Beneil side just because stylistically, I thought that it was going to be grappling, a lot of exchanges, and in that spot, I took Beneil because he was the underdog and he can grapple and he can roll with the best of them. I don't know that Fazeev can. And sure, yeah, he fought who was Dos Anjos, and it went long. He was grappled, he was wrestled a little bit, he got out of it. I was impressed with his cardio in that spot. But respectfully, RDA is not as relentless on the mat as Gamrot. He's not going to be as relentless with those takedowns. A lot of it is pretty soft and labored at this stage of his age. He's a lot older now. He actually went up to welterweight. He's back and forth. I mean, so it's hard to put merit behind that win. Um, but it's so even and so competitive now that I just feel like I don't know, man. It's gonna be close in my opinion. I think it's gonna go long. I think it goes all 5 rounds. So I like the overs in this fight. I don't really enjoy the unders, but because of the price, I was kind of forced to lay my hand on the underdog just after breaking everything down. But I like Fazeev. I root for him. I low key thought he beat Justin Gaethje, but again, that's where we go damage, criteria, and scoring. I think that his face was just all beat up and busted. So it's tough, but watching it live, yeah, I do think Fazeev he should have low key fought Dustin Poirier for the BMF belt for being real, not Justin Gaethje.
Mm,
So
mm.
I don't know. We'll see, man. I think that once again the fans won this fight. I think this is going to be a very fun fight.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm on the other side. I'm on the other side. That's the theme of this show. But you know, when I looked at the fight and looked at the line without the tape, I was like, oh, I think I'm gonna like Fiziev in this spot. And then I watched the tape, and now I love Fiziev in this spot. I really do. And something keeps popping up on my fucking laptop. But let me tell you guys why. So on the Fiziev side, obviously won 6 out of 7 fights. Lost to Gaethje in the last fight, like you said. I watched that fight back. I usually don't tape fights more than once throughout the week, but I taped this fight like 2 or 3 times. And I still can't tell you definitively who won in that fight. I want to say Fiziev won, but Justin Gaethje by far landed the more damaging shots. So I think just depending on who the judge is, you're gonna see a couple different results if you run this fight over and over again. Fiziev has that kickboxing Muay Thai background, extremely dangerous on the feet, extremely dangerous. He's a savage on the feet. Throws in combinations, right? We talked about this with Charles Jourdain. Throws in combinations, which I really like. Super powerful, super accurate with the combinations as well. Boxing is so clean, so crisp, great volume, right? So guys can have power, but can't really necessarily combine that with the I'm sorry, give me 1 second. A lot of people have that power, can't really combine it with the volume. And Fiziev does that extremely well. Super good in the clinch. Obviously, the Muay Thai background is going to do that for you. Nasty elbows, nasty knees. Great off the break too, right? When he's breaking off from the clinch, super good at landing damaging shots or off the break. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. I think that'll be key in this matchup. Really good striking defense. Not really good. I don't think he has elite striking defense. I think he has good striking defense though. He's very aware from range. Good head movement. A lot of guys are just fucking punching bags, don't move their head at all off the center line, and extremely durable. Right, he's only been finished once, and that was kind of a meme KO. Right, as the kids like to call it nowadays. Just the spinning wheel kick from Mustafayev, who we haven't seen him in a while. I think it's been like 4 or 5 years since we've seen him fight, but super dangerous, right? That guy is an elite finisher, super dangerous. Other than that, from the fights that I watched pretty deep in his career. Never really been that hurt otherwise. Despite getting knocked out in that fight. Good cardio, proven cardio, good level of competition, elite takedown defense. I think part of that is just a great balance. He's a really athletic guy, really good athlete, great balance when trying to get taken down, which is obviously going to be super important because, like you said, that's what Gamrot wants to do. Gamrot wants to wrestle. He exchanged probably a bit too much versus Jalen Turner. He was getting lit up in that fight, and I'll talk about that. Just kind of diving a little bit more into the matchup. I'm gonna talk about this one a fair bit. It's obviously the main event, but I'm super fired up about this fight. I really like Fiziev in this fight. Fiziev hasn't really faced many guys who want to wrestle as much as Gamrot. You brought up the RDA. You brought up the RDA fight, and that's the closest resemblance, right? Is a guy like RDA. Um, and he pretty much dominated RDA. I had it 3-1 going into the fifth. And obviously Fiziev knocks him out with a beautiful left hook. RDA is tough to finish, and he got it done in the later rounds. A lot of people question his cardio. Like YBB said, he said he was impressed with his cardio. I was too. I don't think cardio is going to be a question for him in this matchup. Maybe I'm wrong. They have him listed 2 of 16 on takedowns in that fight. One of those was not a takedown. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just Fiziev or in general looking at stats, but I mean, yeah, what they got against Fiziev, but a lot of his opponents aren't landing takedowns and they counting them shits as takedowns. So in my mind, he's one of 16 on takedowns against RDA, which I love. I think that's a huge deal versus a guy like RDA. His cardio held up in his first 5-round fight. Like I said, finished RDA. RDA exchanged on the feet a little bit, but pretty much spam takedowns. I mean, 16 takedowns. That's over 3 takedowns a round. So pretty much spam takedowns in that fight. Um, didn't even really come close to taking him down, except for that one takedown that when he slammed him in the 4th round. So, you know, Gamrot wants to wrestle, like we've said, but RDA is much better at mixing and striking in with the takedowns, right? And YBB, you touched on that, right? Gamrot wants to relentlessly wrestle, right? We saw in his last fight, like I said, I think he stayed on the feet maybe even a little bit too much. He was getting lit the fuck up and got hurt a lot in that fight. Um, but he just wants to spam the wrestling, right? Spam the entries, shoot for low single leg, shit like that. RDA is not really that prototype, but like you said, RDA is fighting upper weight now and pass that test with flying colors, right? 1 of 16 on his takedown defense is incredible. So I think Fiziev has all the tools to be able to slow Gamrot down, right? The knees I talked about, the kicks, the head movement, the overall movement, and switching stances, right? Fiziev switches stances a lot. He's very smooth with it. I think he's equally as dangerous from both positions, from both stances. Um, and we've seen Gamrot be susceptible off the break, right? He's obviously going to clinch a lot, going to be in close quarters a lot because he wants to wrestle. You know, Gamrot's never been finished, but we've seen him hurt a lot. Like I said, extremely hittable, especially from counters and in the clinch. Like I said, Turner dropped him twice. Dariush dropped him obviously with that big left hook. I think it was. Saryukian dropped him twice. Hurt him several times in that fight. So, like I said, Gamrot's never been finished, but I think it's coming, bro. I think it's coming. Gamrot gets hurt, like you said, in almost every fight. His recoverability has been there, and the chin has kind of held up, even though he's getting hurt. But I think it's coming. Gamrot's not the most potent finisher, especially at the UFC level. I trust Fiziev versus a one-dimensional guy. I don't think Gamrot poses any threats in the striking in this matchup. All his strikes are designed to get into range and wrestle, which leaves Gamrot, in my mind, kind of having to be perfect for 25 minutes. And I think that's going to be very, very hard to do against a guy like Fiziev. Like you said, I had this in my notes too, especially the way judges have been judging fights, damage over top control, right? Gamrot is not the most aggressive guy when he's on top. Like I said, not the most potent finisher. Um, Gamrot gets clipped a ton. He's been hurt with the body shots at some points in his career, which is obviously dangerous in his matchup. Fiziev has some of the nastiest kicks in the division. Gamrot's an amazing grappler, but I don't think he's a great offensive wrestler. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust we've seen him shoot and shoot and shoot and be relentless, but only go like 3 of 16 in takedowns, 2 of 16 in takedowns. So, that is a positive, that relentlessness to want to grapple and get to your most advantageous positions. That's a good thing. But I don't rate his offensive wrestling. I don't think he's a dominant offensive wrestler. Um, like I said, he got credited for a bunch of takedowns that weren't takedowns. The Jalen Turner fight, he got credited with some takedowns that weren't takedowns in my mind. Same thing the Sarukian fight. Same thing the Dariush fight. Doesn't have elite top control, like I said. So yeah, the cardio. A lot of people talking about that. For this fight during fight week, I trust the cardio for Fiziev. He has a lot of late round finishes. Finished RDA in the fifth round, like I said. Gamrot has not faced the best level of competition either. People want to poke holes in Fiziev's resume, but Benil beat Gamrot. Benil is obviously top of the division. Fought to a split decision with Turner, like you said, I was on a week's notice, but still fought to a split. Um, Turner's decent, but not at an elite level in his division. Sarukian, Sarukian was fighting a great fight versus Gamrot. And Sarukian is very, very dangerous. He's going to be a problem for several years in the future in his division. But Sarukian fought an amazing fight, and Sarukian just kind of gassed out, right? He gave it his all. He fought his fucking ass off, but just didn't quite have that energy in the fourth and fifth rounds to scrape out that fight. So I think this is going to be the biggest test of Gamrot's career, and I don't think he passes that test. Um, I was looking at the overs too, like you said, the fight goes the distance, but like I said, bro, I think the time is coming that Gamrot's going to get clipped. Fiziev is probably one of the most powerful strikers that he's going to have faced with the kicks, with the knees. I think he's going to catch him with some shit when he's trying to come in. I think he's going to dominate him from range anytime it's in the striking at distance. So I think Fiziev defends enough. The guy has like 95% takedown defense. We've seen guys try to come out and implement that game plan, and Gamrot may be the best grappler that he's ever faced. But like I said, I don't rate the offensive wrestling. So I think Fiziev gets it done. I wanted to give you guys the best price. Should have done that while I was yapping this whole time. Fiziev is minus 148 on DraftKings. I'm sorry, using the Pick a Sports app. I love that price. I'm thinking about adding on. I already made it a 1.5 unit play. Thinking about adding on. Like I said, I liked it before tape, loved it after tape. So I think Fiziev is live to finish his fight. I think Fiziev is live to knock Gamrot out, even though Gamrot's never been finished. So that might be a little bit of a hot take, but I'm going to sprinkle on some late props too, some late KO props. So yeah, bro. Like I said, I can't blame you taking the dog shot, but this is a spot where I'm playing my flag on this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I just talked for 20 minutes about the fight. So yeah, I feel strongly about the fight. I really like Fiziev in this fight. Yeah, that's how I feel, bro.
I hope you're right. I have a, gold prism, Rafael Fiziev card that I'm
Oh
hoping goes up in
shit!
value, so I
Hell
think it's
yeah,
also better for the lightweight division if he wins, just because you can pair him up with so many other, like, fan-friendly fights. I don't think Mateusz Gamrot has that fan-friendly style, but I
yeah,
still think he's dangerous, man. I told myself after, and I put it in my notes too. I told myself after the Armin fight, we're never gonna see Gamrot as an underdog. But that was
yeah,
after the Sarukian fight because I'm really impressed with Sarukian.
yeah.
Um, and so yeah, I'm planting my flag on it, and I just have to go with it, man.
I
I don't really
respect it,
care
man.
who wins though. I don't really care. I don't give a damn. I think the fans win. So
Yeah,
good
I
fight
respect
though.
it, my brother. Yeah, amazing fight to kind of close out this card. It's going to be a great night of fights. We got 11 fights. On the queue. So yeah, that wraps it up. That was the main event. So we did one giveaway already. We're gonna do another giveaway. So once this video ends, not in the live chat. I know a bunch of y'all still in the live chat. Not in the live chat. Once this video ends, for those of y'all watching the back, the video is gonna end shortly. In the comment section of this video, I want you to give me your best bet. Whatever, whether it's a prop, a side, a total, doesn't matter what it is. You got 11 fights to choose from. Give me your best bet. Put it in the comments. Probably Sunday or Monday. I'm gonna go through the comments, pick one of the winners out of there, and that'll be another $50 for you guys right there. So giving away $100 on the show. Retweeted the show earlier on. I'll choose a winner out of there, and then come Sunday after the card is done, I'll pick another winner off of the comment. So make sure you comment your best bet, whatever you feel. If it's in the main event, like we just broke down, which I think was a great breakdown. I think one of the best breakdowns you'll get from between us two for the main event. So hopefully you guys enjoy the show. Um, Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. We're gonna do some recaps. We're gonna do an outro. YBB, why don't you go first? Give us kind of your recap, your breakdown on the action you like for UFC Vegas 79.
Yeah, all right. So I'll start with some of the underdogs that I did take. I took Gamrot. I know that we're gonna be in disagreement there, but one underdog that we do align on is Dan Ige. I think Dan Ige at plus 170 is pretty much value up until about plus 110. Um, let's see. The lottery ticket in that fight is Bryce Mitchell and Dan Ige draw at plus 8,000. You can get plus 8,000 over at Bovada right now. I don't know what it is on other books. I know it's like 60 or it's like 6,000 on Bet Online. So I took the better odds there. Um, let's see. Ricardo Ramos is another dog I'm pretty interested in. Another one that we're pretty much divided on, but I just like his style. I think he can compete. He's still a young fighter. He's not in his prime yet. So I took Ricardo just based on Jourdain fighting a little too close to his competition. Um, and another prop that love in this on this card, or it's a hot take, really. I don't love it necessarily. It should lose, but it also has merit to hit. Is Marina Rodriguez to win via submission? I see a club and sub opportunity. I see Michelle Watterson sticking her head out. I think she's the most submittable flyweight, I mean strawweight that there is in the division. So yeah, Marina Rodriguez via submission, and you can get that at plus 1,400 on Bet Online. So those are the spots that I like. I think it's a dogger pass card overall. Good luck on all your action. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you could reach out to us on Twitter at YBB Sports Data or my personal at Gerhardt YBB.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that too. I wanted you to kind of plug whatever you have, but yeah, I'll just give my recap real quick. Muhammad Usman, I can't believe I'm saying it. I cannot believe I'm saying it. Muhammad Usman money line. I like him in that spot minus 140, minus 145. Like it up to minus 155, if need be. Like Jacob Malkoun, I'm gonna put him in a money line parlay with Marina Rodriguez, little 2-leg money line parlay. Dan Argueta, I like Dan Argueta to get it done at minus 175. I like Charles Jourdain to get it done at minus 140. I like Brian Battle to get it done at minus 185. Dan Ige, my only dog on the card. Like my man YB said, plus 175. I like the underdog there. Give me Dan Ige. And the main event, I like Rafael Fiziev at minus 148 or whatever it was when we looked at it. So yeah, 11 fights. I think I have action in like 7 or 8 of them. Um, I'm gonna put out props as well. Watch out for that in Goldboys. I'll give some of them on Twitter as well. And I'm doing a prop show later on, so look out for that with my man JB. Hey, stop it. So yeah, that's my recap of all my bets. Yeah, like I said, comment your best bet in the comments once the live is over. $50 for you guys. I'll pick a winner out of that. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Let's have another great week. Like I said, we're on an amazing run. Last 8 days up like 25 units. It's fucking insane. We're killing the UFC right now. So it's all about what's next. You know what I'm saying? I'm never the one to brag. I'm just giving you guys the numbers, stating the facts. Your boy's hot. That's all it is. Your boy's hot right now. So we're gonna look to keep it going. YBB, I appreciate you taking the time and being here, my guy. Um, like I said, you know, one of the guys that have been here from day one for me, one of the guys that's helped me out a lot to become a better, and always showing love and support. So I'm glad you took time out of your day to do this and co-host with me. If there's anything you want to get off, tell the people your Twitter again. Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, man. You guys can follow us at YBB Sports Data. I work with a team of guys. I'm actually the guy who pretty much covers MMA. I do know SDQL. I code a little bit for a living. So, yeah, you can follow my personal handle at Gerhardt YBB because I don't actually check our Twitter too often for comments. For the most part, we mute our tweets just because we've been getting a lot of spam replies lately.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, feel free to reach out to me and we can discuss any fights for LFA tonight. I actually have a couple of spots as well. I took Bobby Lee at plus 220 and I
Ooh.
I took Sean Connor at plus 215. Those are my two underdogs for tonight. And that's a LFA, but yeah, those are my closing thoughts. And those fights kick off probably about an hour. So
Some gems right there. Some plus 220s, plus two. Oh
yeah,
my god.
dude, I'm telling you, these MMA markets are really soft. So especially
Yeah.
like these regional scene
Yeah.
markets. So you can definitely squeeze out some value.
Yeah, that's one thing I want to eventually branch off to. UFC is a motherfucker to try to cap every single week and all that stuff. So I'm still kind of, planting my feet and getting my toes firmly in the ground there. But I love to expand and do other promotions. So yeah, appreciate you, my guy. I think we're gonna make a lot of money this weekend. I appreciate the guys in the chat for being here. Follow me on Twitter if you're not already. We're gonna try to do this every single week. So this has been a Subs and Dubs Pod, episode 2. Appreciate you guys for watching. Same time next week? Question mark. Same time next week.
Let's do it, man. Let's
And yeah,
do it.
always, we got to thank the sponsors of the video. Sleeper Picks, one of the best DFS platforms in the world, to win some money. Use code Goldboys, get a deposit match, some free money, try to turn it into more money. Hall of Fame bets, if you want to become a better, kind of bring that analytical side, that data side, to your capping process and win more money. Hall of Fame bets, code Goldboys, and Pick It. We've been using Pick It the whole show. Gotta get the best lines. Why would you pay minus 200 when you could pay minus 150? So use code Goldboys there, get some free cash when you link it for a sports book. So show would not be possible without them. So again, if you're still here for some reason, if you haven't clicked off, put your best bet in the comments. I'm gonna pick a winner out of there, give out some cash. And yeah, same time next week, we'll be here breaking down. Oh no, there's no card next week, right? No Saturday card next week.
Yeah, there's no Saturday card actually.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
thought of that.
Yeah. No Saturday car next week, but we'll find something to do. I'll talk to the man in the sky, Mr. James, see what we can do for the people. Maybe some Dana White Contender Series content or something like that, because we've been killing that game. So yeah, I appreciate you being here. I think that's about it. I'm terrible at closing shows. Salute to you, YBB. Salute to everybody watching. Thank you, James, producing the back. Wouldn't be possible without him. So yeah, we are out.